All right. So y'all can see it now. Excellent. Okay. Let's go ahead real quickly, just review so we get comfortable with Fusion. We should be able to do things pretty quickly. Um, we'll get to this, then we'll add some things down the road here. First things first, just a quick reminder, this is your work area. You change the document settings if you wanted to make it into centimeters. We'll leave it in millimeters right now. If I create an object, if it's a two-dimensional object, it's a sketch. That's just it. You can draw it a line. But if you want to create a three-dimensional, you will actually do right here. So here's a box. I'm going to click on this plane right here. Then the square. So there's the dimensions of said box. So I'm going to make it 300 millimeters by 300 millimeters by, and I'm just making this up just to mess with it, 200 millimeters, which was 200, whoops. $200. I can say OK, and if I want it to fit, I hit zoom to fit, and there it is. Great big box. Probably know what we're going to do, but there it is. Say I say, oh my gosh, there's my body of my box. I come down here. There's my body right there. Now, remember it has physical materials and there's properties here, but it really doesn't change the features. Remember, when we get into properties, it's literally, it says, hey, this is area, dense, mass, it's made out of steel, it's going to have this mass, this density, here's the center of mass, moment of inertia at the center of mass, all these features for it. We're not going to use them in there, but you would in school. Now I'm going to try to shrink out of here. But what you can do, and of course it's not, let me zoom that, is if I grab it, this, oh, I don't want to do that. Bear with me. If I can select the whole thing, which I didn't, you can edit features, even off the top of this. Now I can go back here and say, I don't want it to be that big. I'll make it 30. Put it 30. By 30. All right, now that's more like it, Mr. Dewey. Remember, if you can grab that whole box, you right-click it, you can go to Edit Features. You may not the very first time, and it'll just have properties. So if that happens to you, just try that. Okay? Then, see if you can do it right now, since you're high school age. See if you can go ahead and put a fillet on it, and put a screw hole on it, just like we did. We're just going to take a couple minutes to review this part of it. I want to get us working on the lampshade. Raise your hand when you've got to fill it around and screw, and then in a few moments, I'll go through with you if you can't do it. I'm on my phone, so I won't be able to. I can't what? You need a hand there. Let me know. Laura, if you're on your phone, fine. I'm going to show you all in a minute. But you want to get going on your Windows on this. What are we doing here? All I want you to do is make a box. I want your box to have a fillet in it and a hole, a screw hole for it. I'll show you here in a second. So if I grab this, all right, so there's my box. I'm going to modify it, fillet for F. It says, remember, use these menus and follow the order. It says select the edges. We're not worried about tangent change, but let's first get the edges. So I grab this whole thing. There's all the edges, and it says, well, hey, what do you want to make this? I'm going to say, well, I'm going to make it 5 millimeters. I can see them, so I say, yeah, I can live with that. Okay. There it is, 5 millimeters. If I go down here and zoom to fit, it's going to zoom to fit. It'll be much bigger. Always helpful. Then I'm going to modify, create. And you're going to just over time have to figure out when is it modify and when is it create. No, it's a hole when it's 3D. If it's two-dimensional, it'll be a circle, just so you know that. So we get hole. Look at my menu choices. Right there, select. Let's move this out of the way. I don't know if I did something here. I messed that up or what. All right, select. Sometimes my webinar will move that around. Let's see if I can move this around a little bit. That's making it bigger. I'm moving the hole right there, kind of centered. Talk about later what you do. All right. Then say OK. And there's the hole right there. Now I can use this orbit tool to look at it. Indeed, I cut a hole in there. All right. Once you got it to do what I just did there, raise your hand. If you can't do it because you're on a phone or you're using an iPad, then just raise your hand so we don't wait for you when you don't have it. All right, great. That way, everybody. Excellent. All right, let's do a new one. Okay, this is a little bit of, again, we're reviewing what we did yesterday. Now I'll go to my PowerPoint. We'll go through and add more stuff here down the road. But this is kind of where we want to head with this, so you can bring in your own thing. So I'm going to go up here. I'm going to insert. Watch me do it, then you can do it. Attach canvas. Make sure you select this plane or face, because this is really, we're in kind of a sketch mode now. So make sure you clutch there. I've selected that. I select an image, shade profile. If you weren't here last time, it's under the handouts. There's shade profile Fusion 360. There's opacity. Say OK. Now, if I zoom in, I'm going to say, oh my gosh, there it is, but it's the wrong angle. So I go to Canvas. I right-click on Edit Canvas. This is what I wanted you to see from last week. I'm going to hit 90 degrees here, and it moved it to where I wanted. You can see it right there. My opacity is 50. I say OK. I'm going to put everybody's hands down. Raise it when you get to that point right there. All right, Laura's right on it. Remember, do this from scratch. If you've got it from last time, don't use that. Why don't you do it from scratch? It's re-practicing a skill. All right. Got a couple people. What are the dimensions supposed to be? Levi, we're going to change that in a minute. We're going to calibrate. So 135. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. We're going to use calibration here in a second. Raise your hand, folks, if you got to this right here. Okay? That way I know if you've done it. Okay, we've got most hands now working. Okay? Trying to be. So now, the next step in this is to get this the right size. So we're going to go over here. You might not have it the right way. Like it might just be canvas. So make sure you click down here and right click on your shade canvas. You can edit the canvas and that's where you can move it around. So if you wanted to move it, just grab a square and you move wherever. I'll move it a little bit above. I'll move it on this side of the origin or like right about there. Just to do it. No real reason. Just to show you. Okay? Then I hit OK. It's right behind it. It's 174. I'm going to move the top here. I'm not sure I want it like that. Sometimes I have to play with this myself. All right, so there's the top. Okay? Now, I'm going to first make this big enough. So I'm going to right-click on Shade Profile, and I'm going to hit Calibrate. Because on our drawing, it says 135 centimeters or millimeters. Looks like it does. Click there. Click over to here. And it says, oh my gosh, you only have 6. Right there it was 6. So right in there, I'm going to type in 135. Oh man, the drawing just went away, right? No, actually your drawing just got big. So hit zoom to fit, and there it is. So raise your hand once you've calibrated it. All right. We all set? Okay, good. Now, put everybody's hands down. Before I was always going right to the origin. I'm not sure I'm crazy about that, but here we go. We're going to go to, I'm going to start drawing lines around this. I'm going to copy this over, all right? Now, so what I'm going to do is go to Sketch, Line. Make sure you select this bottom one here, right there. That way you draw in this the same thing as the other one. I'm going to draw one line here. I'm going to go across. I'm going to zoom in. Now I'll press enter there. So I got one line out. I'm going to zoom to fit again. I'm going to go here. I want to make sure I get to the same line. I think I can pull this in a little bit. I'm going to put it right in the middle of that line. Press enter. Now I'm going to hit. Now I can do this. I can right click and go repeat fit, which I don't really want to do. You can do pressure pull, which is kind of annoying actually. So I'm going to hit L for line. Click on that one. I want to make sure those match because it's important for this all the lines have to connect. Let me go zoom to fit. Let me just put it right up there. This is at 91. There we go. Here's 90 degrees. Boom, I'm set there. It showed 90 degrees. I was a little bit, I'm going to move this up a little bit. All right. Then I'm going to click a line here. And then double click out here somewhere. So I've got two lines here. Escape. All right. Zoom to fit. There it is. I've got a line at the top here, here, here. Go ahead and do that. Make sure you're looking at the top up here. Okay? All right. We all set? Raise your hand once you got it to that point so I know that I can go on. We got more people joining us? Good. I mean, they'll get on there. Remember, if it's two-dimensional, it's somewhere probably in the sketch menu. If it's three-dimensional, it's not a sketch. That'll help. And sometimes find what you're trying to do. Okay, raise your hand when you get to that point so we can go on to the next thing, guys. All right. Come on, Harry, let's know. Okay, Philip, okay, great. So let's do this next part. We're now going to go to sketch again, and we're going to use now the straight line because we're going to curve. And you could try to do like kind of curves, but really we're going to do what's called spline. This is a lot like nodes in Inkscape. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to make sure I start at the same place. There's a little rectangle. And I'm going to work my way down. And I'm going to keep zoom to fit. So I'm going to do this. Notice when I click those down there, then I press enter and it should go brown like this. And I can bend the ankles on those or even grab them and move them a little bit. And you can play around with that a little bit. But it'll be brown. Let me know when you've done it. It should go brown. If it doesn't go brown, you've not connected everything. Raise your hand when you got it, guys. All right. Once we have it here, okay, let me read what other people say. What are the dimensions? Okay, how do you rotate it? What are the 2 points again? I'm trying to figure out what Levi means by the 2 points. What do you mean by 2 points? But I should have been looking at the questions. How did you rotate it? I use the square up here in the right-hand corner of your, I don't know if you can see my screen. I can use that to rotate this whole thing. Right now you don't. You probably want it on top. I'll leave this again. Oh, never mind. Got it. Good job. Well done. Okay. Now, something about this. If I hit stop sketch up here, it's now a solid. Being a solid, if I right-click on it, I can press and pull it. So watch. I can grab this arrow. See how I'm pulling it up? So that's what you would say, and I hit OK. Don't you all do this. I'm just showing you. Please don't do this because it might mess up your thing and you'll have to start all over again. See how I made a three-dimensional piece like that. Now, honestly, I don't want to do this. I'm going to go back to this. Go back up to my square up here. Let me shift this around. Let's get the top here. And let's turn it like that. There we go. Now, so it's a form that we can now make three-dimensional. The way we're going to do this, we're going to hit Create, Revolve. We're going to take a profile shot. See how that makes that? And there's like a sweep. That makes the long narrow. Loft does this kind of thing. So you have to have two different profile shots. I've never used Rib, so I don't know no one. All right. So again, you got extrude, where you can pull that in and out. You got revolve, and that's what we're using now. So with that in mind, I'm going to grab this. I'm going to hit revolve. Boom. First thing, and remember, I always read my menu for you. Here's the profile. Click on that. The axis I'm going to use is the edge of this profile. So I select there, I select the axis. Also, you may end up clicking on this down here again. I'm just going to select it right here. There you are. And then I said, okay. And there it is. No worries. Once you have it like this, raise your hand. Raise your hand once you got it. No worries if you don't. We're just working through it, ladies and gentlemen. Can I show that again? You bet. I'm going to just get backwards like if I hadn't done it. The minute it goes brown, it's now a face or a form. I got to look at what they really want to call this. It's still, you're in Sketch, but the minute I've got this, I can go up into these create choices. I can extrude it. I can add depth by pulling things in and out, right? I can revolve it, and that's where you have this right here. So watch what happens. I'm gonna hit revolve. I'm gonna select the profile. It's got to be brown. If it's not brown, it won't work. I'm gonna select the axis, right on the axis of that. There I am. Okay, new body. My guess says, is it brown? Is it turning brown? You should be able to select an axis on it. If it's not turning brown, something's not connected. And make sure you don't have another menu choice open if that didn't open it then. Let me know when you got it, guys. Let me see if any questions on here. I'll go there. Turns brown, but I have the axis above. Okay, no, here, let me show you what you might not be doing, Philip. Let me show you. Watch me, man. I've got it here. I go to create. I'm going to hit revolve. I'm going to go up to select the profile. You select. Go up and where it says axis, hit click blue, make that blue. Then hit select. Okay? Did it make work sense then? Did it work for you, man? Let me show everybody what I just did. I go to create, I go to revolve. First one is the profile. It's already blue, so you can select it here. But for the axis, hit select first there, because you're telling, hey, I'm going to the axis now. Click there. Okay, and then you have it. That's it. Good. Love it when a plan comes together. Not necessarily going through it. You may have to just do it over again, catch it. Now, once we have this, since most people have their hand raised, we're going to go ahead and play out with this up here. Now, let's go to, I'm going to change up right here. I'm going to go to the corner so it's at an angle, all right? Now, I want this lamp to be nothing inside of it. So I'm going to click on, so what I'm going to go up there is I'm going to go to modify. And I'm going to do what's called a shell. So I'm going to click on it. You're going to click on it over here. That's one side of the shell. And then I'm going to do the other side right then. So do both sides at the same time. I'm going to pick a shell here. All right, now I got two of them. Now, I'm going to make the thicknesses 5 millimeters. Now watch. When I move this, I can see through it. How cool is that? Raise your hand once you've got doing that. Let me know when you've got it working, guys. Get some more hands up there. We'll stop it right there. But get it like that, or if you've got a question. Okay, we got most everybody now. All right, now, what we can do is right-click this, and we can edit materials. Let me see materials on this thing. I'll tell you what. There's properties. How it looks is a color. What I'm going to do is go over here. That's features. We change the size of it. I want to do more than hit it appearance. So we're going to go over this. Let me go over this. And then when I'm going to go at bodies, let's go here. Body 1. There it is. I'm going to select physical material. I'm going to go for, I was hoping for some aluminum here. Where's this? This is steel. That's fine. Metal. Dry aluminum. And they have all these different forms of aluminum. Lord. So it just shows you can get all kinds. We're just going to go the standard aluminum. Drag it over that because it was steel. All right. So now this whole thing's aluminum. And then we're going to go, again, we're back on body. Do this, right click on body. I'm going to get rid of that. All right, I'm going to right click on this. That was physical materials. I don't really want to do physical materials. I'm going to grab the whole thing again. I'm going to go to body, right click on that. Something's still running. I don't know if it's my office, but it's not letting me assign this. Why is that? All right. Is there a question over here? I'm going to change the appearance to white here in 1 minute. All right. I guess that's everybody. All right. Let me see if I can do it this way. Repeat physical materials. Nope, don't want to do that. Oh, for goodness sakes. Well, if we'll do it that way, we're going to go to render and we'll change it that way. I'm going to do setup. All right, body 1. I'm going to go to appearance. And I'm going to go to with all paint. I'm going to go with a glossy white if they've got it. Paint enamel, glossy white. There's my finished product there. All right. Now I'll make this back like this. Top. All right, there I am, right there. Okay. Hopefully everybody did that. I had to do it a couple ways. It was kind of strange to me. Sometimes you end up, I'm going to go back to modeling. All right. Again, I'll check, make sure the appearance is what we said it was going to be. Appearance. Yeah, it's still glossy white. Yeah. So it's glossy white. No, 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 no. Don't cancel that webinar. What's wrong with you, Mr. Dubik? Put everybody's hands down. Let me know when you get to this stage of glossy white. All right. There's some more stuff I'd like to do on this, but let's get everybody on here. I would almost like to do it one more time. Have everybody just go through and let's make it one more time and then start to show you what we'll be doing next on this. Okay, notice we could really work on making the curves of that better. There's lots of things. I'm not so much interested in the lamp as I am that you learn how to start getting comfortable with what is modeling on this, what is a sketch as opposed to creating and modifying. See, we haven't gotten to assemble and construct. There's all kinds of things here. inspection things. You can measure out distances. There's a lot of stuff. Yes, this definitely can be used for milling and 3D printing. It's the whole reason, one of the big reasons we're doing this. I want you all to be able to draw, when you use a 3D printer, I want you to draw something out, you print it the whole 9 yards, and it's not just a Tinkercad. Okay? If you get this, and next year we'll have SolidWorks too. That we can't run at home, but we'll show you at school for you guys that are really going to go out to college. If you know Fusion 360 and you know SolidWorks, those are the two big players. Chances are when you go to college or work, you're going to be in pretty good shape. All right, so the last couple there. All right, now we have this. Here's what I'd like you to do. Let's see how quickly you can do it. I want you to make a same lamp, make it in black, but basically go through, add another one here and just go through all the steps, just as if you're going from scratch. Let's see if you can make it. Put your hands down. Go ahead and try to make it real quickly, guys. I think it's better to keep hitting it, reinforcing it. Then when I come in Wednesday, we're just going to get started on the next thing. Let me know when you got it. I'm going to sit here and do one too with you. So I'm going to sit here. I'm going to do insert. And make sure you get the right plane. Change this. 90. Raise your hands once you got it. Here we go. Bodies here. Let's go to physical material. Okay, that's a circle of death. Mine might have just died with that. Okay, let's see what questions we have. Oh, I think it worked. Just curiosity, what about Autodesk Revit? I don't know. On that one, Philip. Okay, mine just closed. So that just brought mine down. I'll show you then with PowerPoint what we're doing next. Fusion's where it's headed. There's no doubt. They want it all cloud-based. Because really, if I invite you, we can all work on the same thing. It's a pretty amazing thing. All right. Oh, we just did that. All right. Got everybody's attention here. I guess we only have a few more minutes. Raise your hand if you're able to get back to and do the whole thing. Be a really great, excellent guys. Be a really great thing to practice that down the road. Now let me just show you what's going to happen next. You know, this is again enamel glossy white. You know, and you just drag it over there. So, all right. Now, the next thing we're going to do is create a sketch. And you're going to hit the plane this way. It's a little bit differently on your plane. So it's going to end up like back on it. All right. Then I'll run through it real on PowerPoint just so you can see it. We're going to create a circle. It's going to be a circle. Notice this is a sketch. It's a circle. It's not a hole because it's only two-dimensional. Make the circle on the middle of the neck, diameter about 0.8 centimeters. So you're going to extrude it. But what we can do when we extrude it, we can do an operation where it either makes it big or it cuts it. In this case, it'll cut it. And then you'll see top mark of the school, and you'll see it'll look just like that. Squares up there top. Look okay, and you now have a hole through it. And then you change your view options to see shaded model with hidden edges kind of thing. So you'll see that from the side. You're going to create a sketch on that. And then what we're going to do is basically draw this out. And what's going to be cool, not really obvious here, but you're going to make, and it's going to do this. And made a tube around there. And that's going to end up being your lamp as you start to make your lamp. And then we're going to do some freeform stuff. That's going to be the base of the lamp. So that's where we're headed with all this. So just bear with me. Going to do some really kind of cool stuff with this. All right? You all have a great night. Okay, you guys? Any last minute questions? You have a great week, and I'll see you all Wednesday online and Thursday some of you on Thursday in the lab. All right, take care.